Innovations Lab was created early in 2019 in order to give us the opportunity to focus on parts of our development process that have typically been underserved. And so in 2019, we created the Innovations Lab and immediately began working on our automatic pricing prototype. Since then, we've worked through various machine learning prototypes, tools, both internal and external, as well as a whole slew of different integrations and potential integrations with our third-party technology partners. The goals of Innovations Lab is really all falls under one primary directive, and that is to make sure that we're getting the right product out to our clients. A lot of times people ask, to define how Innovations Lab fits in to the Beck Technology organization. And I really like to sort of relate it back to how a traditional company might organize if they were making a physical product, right? You have a production line in an assembly, but then you have a separate R&D department that's responsible for coming up with the new things. Innovations Lab really is that R&D department. And so what our goal is to figure out the right technology, that the right workflows that our clients need, and be able to provide that information and answer those questions for our development teams, so that by the time that our development teams take up a feature to start implementing, they have all of those questions answered, and we can guarantee, or best guarantee, that we're getting the right solution out to our clients to make their lives better and solve their needs. If you want to try to set up your own Innovations Lab, I think that really the first step is to be clear about what the goals of it are. As I mentioned before, if you're trying to think about this as a traditional product, it's the research arm for the product that you're producing, which in this case happens to be software. And so really making sure that you're focusing that group on the research is important. Here at Beck Technology, we actually have the Innovations Lab separated out from the development department as its own independent unit. And that's really sort of important for one main reason. It's very easy to want to leverage those developers' skills on your immediate task, getting the next release out, making sure that your schedule doesn't overrun. You really have to be disciplined in not doing that, because you're basically sacrificing your future for the present when you do that. And so making sure that there's that clear delineation between the roles, that your development teams are there to produce the product, and that your research teams are there to figure out where to go next, and keeping those well defined and well established. After that, it's making sure that you have the right people. Not every developer necessarily has the skills or desire to be a researcher. You'll want to find people who are what I like to think of as creative problem solvers. Somebody who can, look out further ahead, see a problem, come up with creative ways to get around it, can see what struggles that your users are having, and be able to figure out ways that you can solve those struggles. And then finally, it's be accepting of failure. One of my favorite sayings from the show Mythbusters is failure is always an option. There have been even just as many features that have made it into the development team's backlogs have been left, on the cutting room floor in Innovations Labs. You don't know where a project's going to take you. You don't know, going into it what the results are going to be. And so the flexibility to roll with the project wherever it goes and ultimately be able to call it and say, hey, this isn't going to work out for us or this isn't going to make it, is something that's very important for an innovations lab as well. The 3 items that I would say are most important are making sure that you have the delineation between the departments and the roles for those 2 departments, finding the right people that can execute with that creative problem-solving drive, and being accepting of failure and realizing that not every project will go where you want it to, and you have to have the ability to explore freely.